Hey, everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What is shaking on your Monday night? Hope you had a good weekend. Welcome aboard. We're expecting you because love won't hurt anymore. Tonight, I'm going to tell you all about the Love Boat. It's going to be awesome. Let's see here. Trailer Swift. Trailer Swift. It's Bob Gurley. Okay, whatever. It's fine. That's me. Uh, you know, it's exciting and new. Come aboard. We're expecting you, and love won't hurt anymore. It's a friendly smile on an open shore. I'll tell you all about the Love Boat. There's actually a bunch of really interesting stuff you're going to learn about the Love Boat, and it's going to be a very love-filled episode. Hope everybody had a great Valentine's Day. Of course, last week we didn't see much of Doc Torn, which I was very much in favor of because I knew that his lady was in town. And there was probably a lot of love going on down there in Louisiana with our resident Cajun. And his gal. Maybe she's still there. Let's see, the doctor actually says, I had a fan-bloody-tastic weekend. Friday night, me and my fiance did a great ghost tour. Then we had a wonderful date night. Well, that's exciting. That's exciting. I didn't do my Valentine's stuff on Friday. I did it on Saturday afternoon, too, not even in the evening. So, we took a tour of Mazatlan is what we did. I always wondered what they were doing, They always had that tour to Mazatlan on the Love Boat. Where is Mazatlan? What were they doing? Does anybody know? Does anybody care? They just went to Mazatlan. Dupa Doo is here. She says, hi, Tom, Doc. Glad you had a good weekend. Yes. Hope you had a good Valentine's Day on Friday. That's not often that it happens on. You got Friday and Saturday night, which are traditionally your big date nights. And so I guess you got a 2 out of 7 chance that Valentine's Day is going to be on one of those nights. But anyway, people saying hi. Oh, I forgot to say, hey, please do us a favor. Like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell. All those free things you can do won't cost you a cent. And they help us with the algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful, all-knowing algorithm. Plus, also, in addition to, we do have those super chats. We do have those memberships. We love it when you do that because it helps us pay the bills around here. And then lastly, please turn on your gifted memberships. We've got a lot of generous people around here that do give out gifted memberships for free. And then you'll get one, and you'll get that members-only exclusive content that we do on the weekends, except not this weekend because I was busy with other things. Incidentally, not tomorrow, but tomorrow night, it's going to get really cold here in Dallas. Like in the teens at night and stuff. So I'm not in favor of that. Really not in favor of that at all. Nobody is at all. We'll give it another minute here, and then we'll get this baby going because I'm very excited to tell you about the Love Boat. I was a big Love Boat watcher. And also, on most of the streaming channels that have live streaming program, not just on demand, but live streaming, will have a Love Boat channel. So you can just sit there and watch Love Boat on just a constant, the doctor says, subscribing gets you a discount on comments. Well, it doesn't necessarily get you a discount, but it will get your comment more prominently featured, that's for sure. And you'll also get the point, which we give out when people do Super Chat or gift memberships or things like that. You get the point, which is a very, very elite thing that happens. You get the point. Anyway, we might as well not mess around with this thing anymore, Let's talk about the love on the Love Boat. Captain Steubing finds out that love isn't all trick-or-treats tonight on the Love Boat. Anyway, they had that announcer guy that... So The Love Boat was this sort of romantic comedy and drama, serious, very, very intense drama series that ran from September of 1977 to May of 1986, which is a pretty long run on your broadcast television. That's damn near 10 years. And I didn't realize this. There were 3 movies about the Love Boat that aired before the series started. I knew there was a bunch of specials afterwards, and I didn't really care. And it was set on the cruise ship, the Pacific Princess. And we'll get into some of the things about that, too. There's, it was the Pacific Princess. And, of course, it all revolved around Captain Meryl Steubing, who was portrayed just with, critically acclaimed acting ability by Gavin MacLeod and his crew, with passengers basically taking up the slack with the actual stories on the ship. And by the way, there was a very, very distinct structure for those stories, which I'll get to as well. It was part of ABC's very, very popular Saturday night lineup, which was Love Boat, then Fantasy Island. That was in the bank every week if you were a loser in high school like myself and either played sports or didn't have much to do on Saturday nights. It was nominated 4 straight years for Golden Globe for Best TV Series, but it never won. Gavin MacLeod and Lauren, I got to figure out how to pronounce her name, because I've heard it pronounced like 5 different ways. Let me see if it's going to tell me how to pronounce. I should have done this before the show. Lauren Tweez, that's what it says here. Lauren Tweez, Julie, your cruise director, social director. They got several Golden Globe nominations, and interestingly enough, and I find this hard to believe, but it's the truth. The episode with the segment titles "Hidden Treasure," "Picture from the Past," and "Ace's Salary," Season 9, Episode 3, was ranked in the TV Guide Top 100 TV Episodes of All Time. Now, here's the deal. Each episode of The Love Boat was titled with 3 titles. It's not like a lot of the shows we talk about, and it'll be the title of this is The Chopper or whatever, The Energy Eater, like we were talking about Coal Shack, The Night Stalker. No, each episode had 3 titles because there was 3 stories on each episode. There were 250, exactly 250 episodes of The Love Boat, which is why there can be a streaming channel that runs nothing but The Love Boat nonstop, constantly, 24/7. You all know Gavin MacLeod. Here's the cast of the show. And the cast that we all remember, there were some changes. We'll talk about them. But that's the cast. You see Meryl Steubing there with his arms folded in front. Lauren Tweez there next to him in front. And then Bernie Kopell, Ted Lang, and Fred Grandy, all of whom very, very interesting characters. How on earth did Dr. Bricker not get nailed for sexual harassment charges aboard that ship? I mean, he was trying to score with every good-looking woman on that boat, nonstop. Quite a horn dog. And by the way, do you really want your doctor, to be in charge of inspecting the female patients if he is indeed, as I mentioned, the aforementioned horn dog? I'm saying no, but whatever. Ted Lang was your bartender. Incidentally, the characters were known as your. It was Gavin MacLeod, your captain, Meryl Steubing. Bernie Kopell, your ship's doctor. Ted Lang, your bartender. Fred Grandy, your yeoman purser. Julie McCoy, your cruise director. It was your. It was like you were going on a cruise with these people. Here's Lauren Tweez. By the way, apparently was coking pretty severely at one point on this show, and then they finally just said goodbye to her. If you've seen her today, which I'm going to show you the cast today here in a few minutes. Let's just say Julie has maybe not been playing enough shuffleboard on the Lido deck. And then there's Fred Grandy, your yeoman purser. And you're saying, why isn't he in his wacky yeoman purser outfit? Well, that's because Fred Grandy, after the show was over, ran for Congress. And he won 4 straight times. He became a United States congressman. That's right. Gopher, the biggest goofball of all goofballs, became apparently a very successful and very serious United States congressman. Yeah. We also had some additions to the cast, which were Jill Whalen, who was Vicky Stubing, the captain's daughter. And then she had a guest appearance in season 2, and then seasons 3 through 9, she was kind of on the show. Ted McGinley, who I'm not going to show here, but you all know Ted McGinley. Ted McGinley is the guy that comes on to famous TV shows at the end of the show. He was on Love Boat toward the end. He was on Happy Days toward the end. He was on Married with Children toward the end. He's that guy. He's like a relief pitcher, Ted McGinley. And then maybe some of you don't remember, when Julie left in the plot, she was only on 2 seasons, but Patricia Klaus was Judy, not Julie, Judy McCoy, and she played Julie's sister and took over her responsibilities as the cruise director. So there you go. Here we go. We got some people chiming in. People saying hi. We do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet, as verified by independent sources. The Wolf is here. He says it's the sex boat, drill ship, blank bucket. Come aboard and enjoy hedonism at its finest. Well, Dupa says, did sexual harassment exist back then? Clearly not, because he was, Doc says it was the 70s. Everybody was a horn dog. That's kind of true. If you laugh at it, Wolf says, all obsessed with the taste of flesh. That's in the little known and little used 3rd stanza of the Love Boat theme song. All obsessed with the taste of flesh. It was kind of that way. It was the hookup boat. Gavin MacLeod, Kevin MacLeod, Bernie Kopell here, and Ted Lang are the only cast members that appeared in all episodes of The Love Boat and the 4 specials, as well as the TV movie. Fred Grandy appeared in every episode through the run of the series, but he didn't do the specials of the movie because he was campaigning for the first of his 4 consecutive terms in the U.S. House of Representatives. Gavin MacLeod was not the captain of the Pacific Princess in the first 2 pilot movies, and he didn't appear in them. So, by the way, none of the cast members appeared in the first pilot, which was, the first pilot had a completely different captain and crew. None of them were there for that. So, yeah. Now, here's one of the things I really want to get across the plate here, because one of the big things about both Love Boat and Fantasy Island, but really Love Boat, was that they would cast well-known actors in guest starring roles. A lot of times they were people from sitcoms or dramas from even other networks that were popular on broadcast television, but a lot of times they were people that had been huge movie stars 20 years before, or even longer. Love American Style tried this, but really didn't do it like Love Boat did. Get this. 32 past and future Academy Award winners guested on The Love Boat, including the best actress from the first awards ceremony in 1929, Janet Gaynor. And that to me is amazing. And by the way, Janet Gaynor wasn't on it just once. She was on it a ton of times. In the final season, many of you won't remember this. In the final season, a troupe of dancers who performed choreographed routines, often to hits of the day, got introduced to the show. I'm only mentioning this because Terry Hatcher was one of those dancers. So Terry Hatcher also on the Love Boat. Let me just list some of the prominent Love Boat guests. And I'm telling you what, Donna Michi, Academy Award winner. Betty White, of course. Betty White was kind of a layup. She was on it a lot. Janet Jackson. Of course, Willie Ames from Eight is Enough. John Amos, who's been in a million things, including Good Times. Maureen McCormick from, the Brady Bunch. I'll tell you an interesting story about the Brady Bunch and the Love Boat here in a second. Vincent Price, Jamie Lee Curtis, Eddie Albert from Green Acres, Kirstie Alley, Don Adams from Get Smart. We just did a show about Get Smart recently. Here's one you might not know. Kathy Bates. Kathy Bates, Academy Award winner for Misery. Yeah. Patty Duke, Tom Hanks, Olivia de Havilland, Gene Kelly, Leslie Nielsen, Shelley Winters. It's one of those shows when it was really popular, a lot of people wanted to be on the Love Boat. Now, a lot of the most often featured guests were far from Academy Award winners, but they were popular on television. Carol Channing, my favorite, Charo. I don't care what the Wolf says. There's two big reasons I like Charo. Bert Convy, who was everywhere in the 70s, died tragically young. Artie Johnson, Audra Lindley, who was Mrs. Roper, Juliette Mills, Marion Ross, Mrs. C from Happy Days, Connie Stevens, Jessica Walter, and of course, I mentioned earlier, Betty White. But there's a lot, those Academy Award winners, man, oh man, oh man. I mentioned Donna Michi and Kathy Bates. Ann Baxter, who you might remember from the Ten Commandments, the movie The Ten Commandments. She was on Love Boat. Ernest Borgnine, who won an Academy Award, I believe, in 1955 for Marty. He was on the Love Boat. Red Buttons. Jamie Lee Curtis. I mentioned Olivia de Havilland. Sandy Dennis, who was known as a very serious dramatic actress. She was on the Love Boat. And so was Jose Ferrar. Joan Fontaine, who was actually in real life Olivia de Havilland's sister. Greer Garson, big star from the past. Ruth Gordon from Harold and Maude. Tom Hanks, of course, many years before he won them. Helen Hayes, Celeste Holm, oh my God, Shirley Jones, George Kennedy, Ray Milland, Cloris Leachman, how about her? John Mills, Oscar winner. Rita Moreno, we were just talking about her. She's an EGOT. An EGOT. That means Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. That's very difficult to do. Louise Rainier, one appearance. Donna Reed, Tim Robbins, Ginger Rogers, Eva Marie Saint, Paul Williams, of course, who actually composed the Love Boat theme. It's Shelley Winters, who I mentioned earlier. Teresa Wright, she won an Oscar. Jane Wyman, also known as the first Mrs. Ronald Reagan, I believe. So there we are. Lots of big stars on the Love Boat. And that was a way that older viewers could go, I remember that person. Why don't we just go ahead here real quickly? And I think mostly we just got people saying hi, but we do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet, as verified by independent sources. So let's just go through them. Did the Love Boat sail past Gilligan's Island? I don't know. You'd have to ask the professor. The Wolf says, I think that launched the popularity of taking cruises. Wolf, it did, in fact, revitalize the cruise industry and made taking cruises popular and cool again. People just kind of forgot about it. They also made it seem like regular people like you and me could go on a cruise, and it wasn't for super rich people. The chef is in the house. Always good to see the chef. People saying hi. 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 Doc says 2 big reasons. Giggity. You darn right. People saying hi. 1 big reason why I like John Hamm. Way now, Dupa. Okay. Wolf says, I've never questioned Charo's talents. Well, you can't. You can't. People saying hi. Coach Mike Rodick's here. Hi, Coach. Currently trying to think of an EGOT joke, simple to the rectum joke. Well, good luck to you. Good luck to you. Something in my eye. Oh, boy. So, the original 1976 made-for-TV movie that launched the whole series was based on a nonfiction book. It was a book about cruises, and it was called The Love Boats by Geraldine Saunders. And she was a real-life cruise director on a passenger line cruise ship. She also partly inspired some German cruise ship also inspired her for this. The 1-hour sitcom was set aboard the ship you are looking at right now, and take a good look at it, because guess what? You can't see it anymore. I'll tell you all about that in a second. It was the Pacific Princess, and at the time, it was an actual Princess Cruises cruise ship. That was the line. It was the Pacific Princess, and the Princess Cruise Line was an actual cruise line like Carnival or the rest of them. They had a twin vessel called the Island Princess that they used for the show sometimes, especially if the schedule of the show conflicted with the Pacific Princess's cruises or annual maintenance and dry docking. Now, they were based in the port of Los Angeles, and they regularly went to, as you heard on the show every week, Puerto Vallarta, Acapulco, and Mazatlan. The series was mostly filmed on sets in Southern California, 20th Century Fox Studios for seasons 1 through 5, and the Warner Hollywood Studios for the remainder of the series, and only occasionally filmed aboard the actual ships. But regardless of where they filmed the majority of the episode, the actual ship was extensively shown in establishing shots where they would show it in the ocean or wherever else. Now, here's just an interesting thing. Along with the use of those 2 actual Pacific Cruise Line ships, the series was allowed to use some of the identifying markings owned by Princess Cruises. Like the Princess's logo is visible in establishing shots and in backgrounds of the sets, and even on props like the name tags for the ship's crew and things like that. But the ownership of the Pacific Princess is never explicitly stated ever in the show as being Princess Cruises. Instead, the characters would use phrases like the line or the company in reference to the people that own the Pacific Princess. Well, sadly, the star of the show, the vessel you're looking at right now on my screen, the now famous, world famous Pacific Princess, was scrapped in Alijia, Turkey in 2013 after no buyer could be found. The sister ship, the Island Princess, was scrapped in 2015 after it failed to find a new owner. And these scrappings were controversial, but the owners justified it as saying they were getting too old to continue operating. So they just couldn't keep doing it no more. They just couldn't. And so those ships are gone now. They no longer exist. Each episode of The Love Boat as I mentioned, had 3 storylines, and it was a very specific structure, okay? The storylines had one of 3 things. All 3 of these were done in every show. One storyline was a crew storyline, like Gopher wants a promotion, or Gopher's hiding his sister who wanted to go on a cruise, or something like that. It was a crew-focused one, super crew-focused. And that could sometimes even be a romantic thing, like an old flame was on the ship or something of that nature. The second one was a romantic comedy with only occasionally dramatic elements. It was mostly for laughs. Like, there's a high school reunion going on the ship. There's 3 guys that are all pals, and the super ugly girl in high school comes onto this ship, and she's smoking hot, and they're all vying for her attention. And let me tell you, wacky hijinks ensue. The third storyline would be the most dramatic of the 3 and wouldn't have hardly any laughs. It was a very serious tone. And that usually was about a romance that had failed, or perhaps 2 people that had broken up years before, and it ends up with a reconciliation or everything being fine at the end of the show. Everything was just fine. On very rare occasions, there were crossovers between the 3 stories. There wasn't a lot of that, but on rare occasions there were. And for instance, in one episode, Robert Reed and Florence Henderson were on the show. Of course, Mike and Carol Brady on the Brady Bunch. But they were guest starring in separate segments. But in one scene, the 2 bump into each other at a buffet table, exchange a questioning look, and then shrug their shoulders and continue on about their business, which I think is a nice touch. It's kind of funny. Also would like to put out, it's very distinctive, the Love Boat, because it's one of the very, very, very few hour-long series to use a laugh track. Yes, the Love Boat had a massive laugh track in it, and you did not find that, particularly on film, for an hour. Okay? One of the things, well, let me go through some of your comments. I see they're accumulating here. Excuse me. Mike is saying hello to people saying hi. Hello to my friends in chat. Oh, hey, Tom. People saying hi. People saying hi. Doc says it's sunk. Well, it was just scrapped. They scrapped it. Melamine Vicky says, good evening, Tom Stubing and everyone. Good evening, Vicky, our cruise director. The Wolf says, imagine people getting on board and asking for Captain Stubing, which they did, Wolf. People would actually take that cruise and ask for the various TV stars when they got on, only to be told, and they had it all set up. Oh, well, Captain Stubing is taking care of duties on the bridge right now and won't be able, they had a whole thing set up for it. People saying hi. People saying hi. Metalman Vicky says, hanging out on the Lido deck, waiting to port in Puerto Vallarta. The Lido deck, I think, is where all the major hooking up went on, and the shuffleboard, of course. People saying hi. Metalman Vicky says, nothing like Saturday nights with the Love Boat, Fantasy Island, the 11 o'clock news, then Saturday Night Live. That was the drill. I embarrassingly have to say, Metalman Vicky, that I did that more times than I would care to mention. The Love Boat was scrapped in Turkey in 2013. That's what I said. That's what I said, Terry. That's what I said. And the Island Princess, the other ship they used for photography, was scrapped in 2015. I just covered that. Weren't you listening? That's what I said. Good to see you, Terry. People saying hi. 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 And Funky Bronco is here, and most likely inebriated. And he wants to know how the nipper is. There. One of the most distinctive things about The Love Boat was, of course, the song for The Love Boat. It was composed by Charles Fox with lyrics by Paul Williams, and it was sung by Jack Jones for the first 8 of the 9 seasons. And then in a different arrangement that was hopelessly failed, it was sung by Dionne Warwick in the last season and the 4 specials that followed. Charo, who had also recorded and commercially released the song, and why wouldn't she? She was on the show 4 billion times, or at least it seemed like it. That's one of those things, if I look it up, nope, only once. But it seems like she was on there a lot. I know she was on at least twice. She performed it within the show in one of her guest appearances, and you can see that on YouTube if you'd care to. The opening sequence was always sort of the same with some minor changes, but it had the cast, you know, your purser, your cruise director, and you'd see the actual stars. At first, the guest stars were just, their name was shown, but showing the crew was so popular that they started showing the special guests with a visual of them as well. So there you are. By the way, The Love Boat was very successful in the ratings. It usually ranked in the top 20, sometimes even the top 10. But by the 84-85 season, the show fell out of the top 50. And it was canceled after 9 years. It was number 5. It was the number 5 show on television in 1980-81. And then it was the number 9 show on television in 82-83. Its rankings were 16, 17, 24, 5, 15, 9, 17. For the first 7 seasons, it was only out of the top 20 one time, but then 34 and then 62. So, yeah, not so good. Not so good. In 2014, Fred Grandy, Bernie Kopell, Ted Lang, Gavin MacLeod, and Cynthia Lauren Tweez and Jill Whalen became godparents. And that is a term they use in the passenger ship industry that's like the equivalent of naval ship sponsors of the Princess Cruises ship Regal Princess. On May 23rd, 2017, the original cast, Gavin MacLeod, Bernie Kopell, Fred Grandy, Ted Lang, Lauren Tweez, and Jill Whalen reunited on the Today Show, where it was announced they would receive a joint star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for their contributions to television. And there you go. Now, here they are all together in 2015. And you see Bernie Kopell is the furthest one. Then there's Fred Grandy. Then there's Ted Lang. Then, of course, Gavin MacLeod. And then that, believe it or not, is Lauren Tweez. Yeah. And then Jill Whalen is on the far right. Much younger than the rest of them because she played the little girl, for crying out loud. She was the little girl, you know. That's what I said. It's 2013. It was scrapped in Turkey. I said that. That's what I said. Let's see here. Doc would like to know, was it the Lido deck or the libido deck? You know what I'm saying? You know, huh? Which is funny. Wolf saying hi to Funky Bronco. People saying hi to Funky Bronco. Doc says, my nipper's coming along right nice. Going to be a right proper lad. Good. Proper lad indeed. That is great to hear. Nominated for all kinds of Golden Globe Awards. Never won a doggone one. Nominated for a bunch of primetime Emmys. A ton of them. Never won a doggone one. Not one. By the way, there's a great episode called The Old Man and the Runaway. And Will Geer plays this old man who a little kid stows away with. It was like an orphan or something. It was a really good episode, and he was nominated for a Primetime Emmy for that. Didn't win it, but that was one of the only guest star that was nominated. So it did win a People's Choice Award in 1977, favorite new TV comedy program, and it tied with Three's Company. There were some sort of sequels or spin-offs or crossovers. In 1979, the 2-hour season premiere of Charlie's Angels, which was another Aaron Spelling production, that introduced Shelley Hack, by the way, as the new angel, Tiffany Wells, was entitled Love Boat Angels, and its characters attempted to recover stolen museum artifacts while aboard the Pacific Princess on a cruise to the Virgin Islands, with all of the Love Boat regulars having a cameo appearance. So that was like a serious show that actually had the Love Boat regulars on it. In 1994, Saturday Night Live had a sketch which guest host Patrick Stewart was on, and this is hilarious. It merged the Love Boat with Star Trek The Next Generation. It's absolutely a scream if you've never seen it. So Stewart played the captain, while caricatures of Deanna Troi and Geordie LaForge played the cruise director and bartender. And Bernie Kopell himself had a cameo appearance as Doc. And he walks on and people go crazy. It's a pretty wonderful episode. There was an episode of the TV show Martin called Going Overboard, and the main characters of that show went on a cruise and encountered Isaac, Julie, Doc, and Vicky. There was a revival of the show called Love Boat: The Next Wave. Let's not talk about it. And then there was another show called The Real Love Boat, which was basically a reality show where people tried to hook up, and who cares? As the Wolf was mentioning earlier, CNN reported industry experts crediting the show with increasing the interest in the cruise industry, especially for those that weren't newlyweds or senior citizens, who were the predominant customers at the time, and resulting in the demand for new cruise ships to be built instead of converting old ships into cruise ships. The influence was particularly notable for Princess Cruises, a line that, partnered with the series and got a great deal of attention, as a result. Princess Cruise Lines really embraced its relationship to the Love Boat as a TV show. I mean, they went whole hog. Actor Gavin MacLeod was appointed the line's global ambassador in 1986 and appeared in television ads and other campaigns for over 30 years. Actress Jill Whalen, who played Captain Stubing's daughter, is currently Princess's Celebrations ambassador and has appeared in online videos promoting the line. The series' primary cast were named, as I mentioned, the godparents. And so members of the cast have participated in themed cruises honoring this series, most recently in 2022 and 2024, with another cruise scheduled for November of 2025. Maybe the Tom Gulley Show has a convention, a meeting on that. No, I don't think we're doing that. I'm sorry. We're not doing that. We're just not doing that, kids. We're not going to do that. Hey, by the way, if you could, like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all of those free things. Man, it only takes a second to click. Please, helps us with the algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful, all-knowing, all-seeing algorithm. I mean, Fred Grandy went to Congress. Gopher was a congressman. If that can happen, you can't give me a click? Are you kidding me? Come on, please. Super chats and memberships are warmly appreciated. And if you do that, you'll get the point, which, of course, no one has seen thus far this evening because of, look, I don't want to embarrass anybody, but, it's kind of sparse on that. And then there's gifted memberships, which it tells how to turn those on in the bottom of the crawl there. There you go. There you go. Dupa says, Terry, you should know better than to repeat, Tom. I mean, it's what I said. I already said it. Just think, you may have driven over or under the Love Boat as a reinforcement bar used in cement scrapped in Turkey in 2013. You might have, or, you know, it might be part of another, like a trawling vessel or something. Who knows? Who knows? Dupa says, Terry D, you are a dreamer. I mean, you have quite an imagination. I'll see myself out. No, don't do that. Doc says, oh, the reboot was that kind of Love Boat. Yeah, it was the active physical Love Boat. Sonny Bono was also on. So was Shirley Temple. I don't think Shirley Temple was on the Love Boat. Thank you. Shirley Temple was an ambassador to some country, or she was a serious politician. The Wolf says, I guess that says a lot about Congress. Well, he was a Republican, Wolf. Doc says, why pay 5 shillings a comment when you subscribe? Comments are a shilling a pop. That's right. Oh, Dupa, thank you. Thank you. Tom, can you please give everyone in the chat room the point? Jesse Ventura. Look, here's the deal, kids. If you want me to, I'll go to the IMDb and I'll bring up all the guest stars on the Love Boat. But I caution you, because most shows, when I go and I bring up that, it's a page. It's not very long. It is 5 pages long for the Love Boat. It is voluminous. But if you name somebody, they probably were a guest. And a lot of people, you know, that was a good gig. If you were just starting out on a sitcom or something, man, that was a good gig. Oh, I meant they were congressmen. Okay, so Dupa, yes. Not only will I give everyone the point, I will give everyone the point without banner and full screen. So everyone, thank you for being here. And courtesy of Dupa, you get the point. Yes, you can tell your grandkids about that. Look at that. Tell your grandkids about that there. You got the point. Wearing a jacket and everything. Yeah, there's the point. That, incidentally, is how I would be dressed on the Love Boat if I was on it. At Meryl Stubing's captain's table. That's the way I would be dressed. But they were congressmen. Same meant regarding Jeff C. Vinch. I don't know what's going on here. The whole show's, the wheels have come off the wagon. But that's really all I have to tell you about the Love Boat. But by golly, if you want me to go, I'm surprised. Let's see. I'll be telling the grandkids about, let me tell you about Tom Gulley. Oh, yeah, there'll be a big episode somewhere. Guest stars, on the Love Boat. Oh, wait. Here, this is maybe a better one. Most appearances on the Love Boat. Marion Ross, Mrs. C. Well, I already mentioned all these people. But Mrs. C holds the record for most appearances on the Love Boat by a guest star with 14 appearances. Man, oh man. Let's break these down. MeTV breaks them down. Breaks them down for you. Oh, God. Why is MeTV asking me to prove cookies? Please. Okay. Here are the top. This is amazing. These, I better put the Love Boat people back up here in some respect. I'll put the new, well, this is probably a better picture. I like that picture. So here, by vocation, are the top passenger jobs. So the guest stars coming on, here are their top jobs that they had. Number 1, writer. Number 2, musician. Number 3, actor. Number 4, businessman. Number 5, athlete. Number, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6, law enforcement. Number 7, model. Number 8, teacher. Number 9, doctor and or nurse. Number 10, politician. But really the number 1 is other. None of those things is, Number of times dogs appeared. 4. Number of times a ghost appeared. 2. Number of times the crew ran into a friend from high school. 7. Number of times twins appeared. 3. Number of times love was literally blind. One of the people was blind that was falling in love. 5. Number of times real families were cast as fictional families. 5. All right. Who appeared the most? After our good friend Marion Ross, Florence Henderson was on 9 times. Linda Evans 7 times. Rue McClanahan 6 times. Ted Knight 6 times. Ethel Merman 6 times. Aaron Moran, Joni of Joni Loves Chachi, 6 times. Robert Reed 5 times. Vicki Lawrence 5 times. Maureen McCormick 5 times. Tom Bosley, Mr. C, 4 times. 4 times. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. There was tons of times when they ran into a friend from high school, that just always seemed to me to be like, okay, whatever, who cares? Oh man! All right, I'll go through this, but I'm telling you, it's also IMDb takes up a lot of memory. It really does. Okay, but there were comments. Okay, Terry Nee says. As traveling through a hospital last week, many doors opened before us. I mentioned it's like Get Smart. Both young people never heard of it. Well, that's their fault. Dupa for the win. See, we're going to have this gap because our people our age know it and slightly younger than us. And then there was a period of time when these shows were very hard to watch. But now, when MeTV and Antenna TV and all these secondary over-the-air broadcast channels came on, people started watching again, in addition to the fact that now the streaming networks, as I mentioned, have shows like The Love Boat, have their own channel and go nonstop. If you recall, when we were young, Leave It to Beaver hadn't been on the air for a long time. But then it got heavy into reruns on all these channels. And that's how we found out about it. Same thing's going to happen with these shows. Trust me. Dupa for the win. Yeah, Dupa's very for the win. Cookies, like cookies and MILF. Yes, and milk. And that's being laughed at. They're just laughing at him. Edie Adams, Ernie Kovac's wife, was on The Love Boat. Mason Adams, who is a well-known voice actor. Debbie Allen she's the sister of Felicia Rashad. Steve Allen, the famous Steve Allen, one of the original Tonight Show hosts. Kirstie Alley was on. June Allison, for those of you who remember early adult diaper commercials. Maury Amsterdam, from the Dick Van Dyke Show. Lonnie Anderson, Melissa Sue Anderson from Little House on the Prairie. Ursula Andress. Oh my God, I didn't realize she was on it. Good gravy. Dana Andrews, a famous leading man of the 40s and 50s. Susan Anton. Whatever happened to Susan Anton? She was in Golden Girls. She was on everything. You never see her anymore, ever. Eve Arden, who you might remember as the principal from Grease. Adam Arkin, not Alan Arkin, his son Adam. Bess Armstrong, who was really popular in the 80s, I would say. She married to John Fiedler. Not that John Fiedler. That can't be. I gotta check this out. Not that John Fiedler. No, I was right. Not that John Fiedler. Desi Arnaz Jr., John Aston from Addams Family. Let's see, Frankie Avalon, Catherine Bach from The Spy Who Loved Me, Jim Backus, Mr. Thurston Howell III, Pearl Bailey was on, Conrad Bain from Facts of Life, Scott Baio, Adrienne Barbeau. Look, if Adrienne Barbeau was on the Love Boat and they didn't have her in a bikini, they were throwing ratings points into the gutter. Priscilla Barnes, who was a replacement for Susan Summers on Three's Company. Gene Barry, the legendary Gene Barry. Billy Barty. Oh, that was... Oh, boy. Richard Basehart from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. We mentioned Kathy Bates. Mentioned Ann Baxter. Meredith Baxter. Orson Bean. Egg Bagley Jr., Barbie Benton. I wonder how many times she was on. I really do. Because she was on a lot. Polly Bergen, Milton Berle, Ken Berry, Barbara Billingsley, Bill Bixby, Linda Blair from The Exorcist, Amanda Blake, Joan Blondell, Sonny Bono, someone mentioned, Ernest Borgnine, I know I mentioned earlier, Eileen Brennan, Lloyd Bridges, Jeff Bridges' father, Todd Bridges, well-known felon and fact of life person, Dr. Joyce Brothers, Gary Berghoff, Radar O'Reilly from MASH, Raymond Burr, Perry Mason himself, LeVar Burton, Dick Butkus, Red Buttons, Ruth Buzzy, Ed Burns, Kooky, lend me your cone, Sid Caesar, Charlie Callis, Cab Calloway, Diana Canova, who is the voice of Marge Simpson, Carol, Jack Carter. I mean, the list goes on. David Cassidy, Joanna Cassidy, Carol Channing, Sid Charisse. Oh my God, Sid Charisse. The aforementioned Charo. I could go on forever. Dabney Coleman, Jeff Conway from Greece, Dee Dee Khan from Greece, Chuck Connors from The Rifleman, Mike Connors from Mannix. The list goes on and on. Courtney Cox was actually on The Love Boat. Can you believe it? Bob Crane, Hogan's Heroes. Kathy Lee Crosby, Scatman Crothers, Billy Crystal, Jane Curtin, Jamie Lee Curtin. I'm not going to keep doing this. There's just too many. Tony Danza, Kim Darby, James Darren, Ann B. Davis, Alice from the Brady Bunch, Patty Davis, Ronald Reagan's daughter, Richard Dawson, Joyce DeWitt. Some people you hear them and you're like, well, of course they were. And then other people you hear them and you're like, no, what? Bob Denver, Gilligan himself, Phyllis Diller. These are people that you would imagine are going to be on. Well, Troy Donahue. Anyway, Mike Douglas. There's too many to list, man. There's just too many. It's just too many there. I'm telling you. Whoa, look at that. Okay, where are we at here? MILF works better for the bucket. Terry Need says, kids love the racism on Sanford and Son. Ain't wrong. SG Fanboy, the living legend, is here. The living legend himself. Good to see you. Mr. T, I don't know if Mr. T was on. I have to check. I assume so. It seems like he would have been, doesn't it? Hail SG Fanboy. Metal Main Vicky says, I used to love when Scott Baio and Christy McNichol would be on the show. SG Fanboy getting greeted as he richly deserves to be. Hey guys, great to see you all. Great to see you too, SG. Great to see you. Glad you're here. Doopadoopadoo says, it's always great when you enter the chat room, SG. It really is. Metal Maiden Vicky says, Conrad Bain was also the Collinsport innkeeper in Dark Shadows. I haven't gotten to that point unless he was on before I started. I'm still stuck at that one episode. I watched all the Lonesome Dove miniseries this weekend. Thanks, Dupe. I wish I could be in here more, but between work, the kids, and I found a lady that lets me lie down on top of her. No joke. Well, you're with us here in spirit, SG. Oh, boy. Dude says, I miss Norm, one of my favorite comedians. We remember being young with kids, work and relationship. Totally understand. Yes, we understand. The Love Boat is appearing all over the world in some form because it was... I said that. That's what I said. Vicky, have you ever thought about doing a podcast on Dark Shadows? No, I mean, if she wants to. Yeah. She already does a show. 5 hours worth, by the way. Every Saturday, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern at sonicasylumradio.com. Metal Maiden Vicky's Metal Euphoria. Check it out. I'm still stuck on episode like 516 or something, or along those lines. My mom actually asked me about it because I told her I was watching all of them. And I went, yeah, I've been watching other stuff for about the last 2. I kind of get to a point that's very high saturation. Metal Maiden Vicky says you have to watch the pre-Barnabas episodes first. Tubi has broken the episodes up into like various themes, and one of them is before Barnabas. There's another one that's like got Barnabas-y stuff. There's another, but they've gotten the storylines kind of in segments. I'm not doing that. There's a lot of stuff in those first 209 episodes. There really is. Yeah, when the show was failing and in danger of being canceled, there's some great stuff in there. I've seen it. It's okay. It's just gothic and psychological and Speaking of broken up, the Love Boat was scrapped in Turkey in 2013. It's not called the Love Boat. It was called the Pacific Princess, and there was a sister ship called the Island Princess that was scrapped in 2015. So you're wrong. You're wrong. Somewhere around episode 760. Yeah, I gotta take a break. The other thing is my sleep schedule's been messed up lately, and I was watching Dark Shadows at night in an effort to fall asleep. Now my schedule is stuff that when I go to bed, I'm going to sleep, so I haven't watched as much. Tupa says, when I start, I'm going to start from the beginning. Go right ahead. See if you can drudge through those first 209 episodes. Go ahead. They'll be in black and white, most of them. Laughing at Terry Nee. Let's see here. Tupa, no, I haven't. I got some other stuff going on, but that would be fun, though. Be fun, but 1,200 episodes. Good luck. Boom, Terry Nee. Doc says, Terry Nee, was it scrapped in Turkey in 2013? You know, this is why we can't have nice things. Metal Main Vicky says, Dupa, yes, episode 1 was when Victoria Winters boards the train to Collinsport to become the governess at Collinswood and also meets Burke Devlin. And that's back when Maggie was a waitress and blah, blah, blah. Metal Main Vicky says those first episodes are awesome, though, and helps with stuff later on. Really doesn't help that much. It doesn't help at all when it goes back to 1790. It doesn't. Not one bit. When Victoria Winters goes back in time after the seance, every character is a new character. So it doesn't help one bit with that. Not one bit. Roger's not married, and he's not he's married to his sister, and it's a mess, is what it is. Reverend Trask isn't the lawyer. He's got a different name. Professor Stokes is the indentured servant. It's a mess. Dupa says, this is why we can't have nice things. Doc says, hi, everybody. I'm Doc, and I'm a donkey pit. Okay. The entrance of Laura Collins. It's just a mess. Angelique shows up. Julia is Madame Dupre. It's a mess. Doc, it was scrapped. 2013 Turkey. No, actually, there was 2 ships, and the second one was scrapped in 2015. So you're wrong. That's what I said. So much, really. Yeah, right. It's just. But you don't have to watch them. There are some that don't. You really don't have to. Nobody did until Barnabas shows. Who cares? And by the way, Dark Shadows, not the most intricate plot to keep track of. You can pretty much tell. They're 20-minute episodes, so there's only a half an hour show every day. So you can, after 2 or 3 shows, you know it all. And you can also look it up online, and you can just say this character, and it goes through the whole. But you really, there's a whole bunch of parallel timelines and things and stuff, and Carolyn is this way in this one, and this way in the other one, and David is. By the way, David. I want to smack that kid so hard so many times. It's like, yeah, I just got done telling you, shut up, okay? And would you quit wandering around Collinswood, okay? You're going to stumble into Barnabas's crypt or some other place you shouldn't be, and then you'll be in jeopardy, and everybody will have to, ooh, I don't know what's going on, forget it. Terry says, wait, I've seen the Island Princess leaving Port Everglades many times. Well, I can't be held responsible for what you see. Melmain Biggie says, well, I happen to love those first 209 episodes, and I'm standing by it. Well, some people like porridge. I laughing at the David comments. But why is Barnabas? Shut up. Shut up. Well, David has a way of getting into a little bit of trouble now and David is a little brat. He was a nosy kid. He was a nosy little Budinsky. If he'd have been on Love Boat and I was on Love Boat, I'd have thrown him off the ship. Just saying. Late at night, just, why is Barnabas, Terry Nee, we better behave. Tom going to put us in the punishment closet. There's no punishment closet, really. There's not. Anyway, well, that's all I got to tell you about the Love Boat. What nosy kid did David grow up to be? Well, David actually exists as an adult in one of the alternate timelines. The David that's a kid, I believe in the 1795 timeline, when they do like an 1840 timeline, he's there as an adult. And he's, anyway. Melmain Biggie says, I wonder if anyone from Dark Shadows ever guested on the Love Boat. Well, I'm pretty sure Conrad Bain was on the Love Boat, and as Middlemain Vicky mentioned, he was on Dark Shadows. Kate Jackson, maybe Kate Jackson. She was also on, maybe Roger Davis. Was Roger Davis on Love Boat? Boom. Doesn't say. Thank you, AI. Was Kate Jackson on the Love Boat? By God, Kate Jackson was on the Love Boat. So there you go. She was on Charlie's Angels. Is that what you asked me? I'm sorry, I've completely lost my... anyone from Dark Shadows on Love Boat? Yes. So Kate Jackson was one. Let's see. Joan Bennett. Maybe she was. Let's see. Was Joan Bennett on the Love Boat? No, I don't think she was. But Kate Jackson was. So there's a Dark Shadows, crossover there. Trying to think if anybody else might have been. I don't think Nancy Barrett would have been on it. Trying to think of any other. Let's see. Yes, Conrad Bain was on the Love Boats. There's another crossover. You're welcome. Not as much as you... Wait, Doc, do you mean Terry Nee? Nobody means. Yes, right, Conrad Bain. Doopa-doopa-doo. Vicky and Tom having a Dark Shadows tennis match. I love it. Kate Jackson must have been. Well, Kate Jackson was on it, but she was on it in a fantasy that Isaac was having about Charlie's Angels. But she was on it, so I'm counting that. No cast members from Dark Shadows appeared on the Love Boat, but there are many actors who appeared in both Dark Shadows and other projects. That's not correct. This is absolutely not correct. I don't know where you got that from, but that's not correct. Was that a trick question? I know it wasn't a trick question. Let me see here. Who asked that question? Oh, man, SG Family says, I got to get out of here and go lie down on top of this lady. Good night, guys. Good night. Oh, I didn't realize she was still here. Or you're there. Anyway, have a great night and take care. I will. Terry, what are you talking about? Kate Jackson was very famously on Dark Shadows, and I just pulled up that she was on the Love Boat. I don't know what you're talking about, dude. And Conrad Bain also on Dark Shadows and on the Love Boat. Please, stop it. I wonder if John Carlin or Lara Parker. I don't think so, but maybe. Lara Parker may have been. Was Lara Parker on the Love Boat? Yeah. Whoa, hey. I don't think she was. No, it doesn't look like she was. I'll check out John Carlin, but I don't think he was either. I know Jonathan Frid couldn't have been. John Carlin died 5 years ago. I did not realize that. Makes sense, though. But he was on a lot of, I think he was on Cagney and Lacey and a whole bunch of other stuff after. Let's see here. He's going to go lay down on his old lady. Until next time, SG. Google doesn't lie, Tom. Says you. We just proved it. Love John Carlin. Willie Loomis can never relax. Willie Loomis is pretty much single-handedly responsible for all the problems that resulted from Adam, because he's the one that constantly tortures Adam till he runs out and, clubs somebody in the head. Was George Carlin on the Love Boat? I don't know. I'm going to find out here. Why are you asking me? You can, Mr. Google. So high-strung, poor dude. Yes. John Carlin. When they went to the alternate timelines, John Carlin never got like Professor Stokes. He was Ben Stokes, who was this indentured servant who wasn't that smart, and And then Professor Stokes is a very erudite, intelligent. John Carlin never got that. When they went to another timeline, he was still a stoop, a buffoon. So I'm pretty sure George Carlin had to be on the Love Boat, didn't he? Didn't he? I don't know. I don't have time to find this stuff out right now. Seems like he would have been, but I don't know. It's like I think you're better off assuming that somebody was on the Love Boat than not. So By the way, that's not how you spell Carlin. Metal Main V's, oh yeah. Yes, he does torture Adam. And then Adam goes out and either gets shot or falls off a cliff or captures somebody. And please, stop it. Just stop it. Even when John Carlin plays a Colin's brother, I forget the name right now, he's considered the jackass of the family. Exactly. Dupa says, George Carlin was not on the Love Boat. IMDb doesn't lie. I'll go along with that. But anyway, was the Love Boat in my driveway construction? I don't know. I've never been in your driveway. All right, kids, we're going to put a fork in this. I'm not even opening up the phone lines. I'm going to let you guys get to your Monday night. I have no idea what tomorrow's night's show is about yet. None whatsoever. I wrote down some things last week in the very margins of some of my papers here. Oh, let's see what we got here. Oh, Rocky Horror, Rona Barrett. I don't know if I want to do Rocky Horror so close to another entertainment thing, but that, since there's no rhyme or reason to how many people watch this show, I guess might as well. I could do a show on Peter North. I know that Funky Bronco has been beckoning for a Peter North show. Cod liver oil. Why would I do a show on that? Well, stopped me before. Barbie Benton, she very much deserves a show. I'll find something. How many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop? 1, 2, 3. 3. All right, kids. Well, hey, it's been a blast. Hope you enjoyed tonight's program on The Love Boat. I now have to figure out tomorrow night's topic, which I'll be doing right after the show, as I eat food. And with all that being said, I'm looking at that old clock on the wall, and it says, like the Reverend Al Green, it's time for me to get on up out of here. You don't have to go home, but you can go on the Love Boat. By the way, Princess Cruise Lines is still advertising itself as the Love Boat. They don't have any of the original Love Boats, but they are advertising themselves as the Love Boat. So Terry Nee just won't let it go. Good stuff tonight, Tom. Well, I don't know. We'll see. But the ratings in this program tend to just go way up and way down and way up and way down. And so we'll see what happens tonight with the Love Boat. We'll see. Hard to say, really. Anyway, the only thing left to say right now is love exciting and new. Come aboard. We're expecting you, and love won't hurt anymore. Anyway, till next time, we'll see you next time.